So we will be finishing chapter 4 in this set of videos, but before we can do that, I want to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming on-campus assessments this week. So first off, on Tuesday, the 16th, we're going to do the chapter 4 participation quiz. This will be just like the chapter 1 that we did. It'll be 30 minutes. So we'll meet in room 141, the classroom that we've been using. One of the things is this assignment will cover all of the participation assignments from chapter 4, which is 3 days or 3 lectures. So 611, 612, that's module 4, and then 615, today's the one you're watching right now. I do know that this is just one, this will be one day from what you've seen it. So, it will be evenly spaced. It's not just going to be like only 615. It will be some of the 611 to 612 stuff that you've had practice with, also like the module 4 homework, covering all that. And then we'll do lab afterwards at 9:30 in room 124, the lab room. Still, the pre-lab for reactivity patterns, those things are all still due at 9 a.m. On Tuesday the 16th. Once again, you're going to want to bring a scientific calculator. You've seen a participation quiz, you've seen a test now, you kind of get a sense of it, of what the kind of format we're going to be looking at is. It's going to look like those that you've seen. And again, it's just to get you more practice with this chapter 4 material. There will be some useful information, a lot of reference stuff, the solubility rules, polyatomic ions, strong and weak, or strong acid and base, strong acid lists, I should say. The chapter 4 equations is just one of them, and the periodic table. So kind of beefier, useful information like we saw with the whole exam 1. Same thing, all of chapter 4 here. Then on Thursday, we're going to do exam 2, and that'll be in person during lab time, 9 to 11 now. You'll have the full 2 hours to do it. You're going to want a scientific calculator again. It will have that standard or same type of periodic table and useful information available. Check it out in the exam 2 folder that is in this week 3 folder. There is going to be a review again that you can get fill out to get 3 points on the test grade, and the test is going to cover modules 4 and 5. So that's all of chapter 4 and then part of chapter 5 for the Tuesday set of videos this week. This module that's starting chapter 5, we're not going to quite finish it, so it'll only cover that part of chapter 5. The thing about it is, the test will only cover these chapters 4 and chapter 5 bits, so it's not going to have explicit questions about chapter 3, but like you'll see in today's set of videos, like moles and molar mass are still around. When we were talking about like predicting products in reactions, you need to be able to like diagnose a chemical formula, identifying ions. Those ideas from chapters 1, 2, and 3 are still around. Unit conversions are going to come up today, or kind of solving problems using dimensional analysis. So when I say that it's going to cover chapters 4 and 5, it's going to cover the material that we've looked at in chapters 4 and 5. So molar mass is going to be applied today, but I'm not going to be expecting you to like come up with molar masses. I'm going to give you molar masses, and can you use molar masses in the context of doing stoichiometry questions? That sort of stuff. So I'm not going to ask you like, is this an ionic compound? But you might need to know if it's an ionic compound in the context of figuring out what kind of reaction is going to happen, or what the oxidation numbers are for a particular atom or something like that. So in application, you will use concepts from chapters 1, 2, and 3, but I'm never just going to ask you like, how many neutrons are in this atom or something like that, purely chapter 2 concept. The format of exam 2 is going to look exactly the same as exam 1, free response, just answering questions, explaining how you know things, showing your work. When you're demonstrating your thought process, I can award partial credit. And again, units. It's a big part. You don't want to be losing points for units. And in terms of preparation, I would certainly encourage you to think about how you prepared for exam 1 and whether or not that was beneficial. Were you preparing for the appropriate things? Where did you look? We thought about it. We met and talked about it in our postmortem after exam 1. So now you kind of have some idea of, maybe you should change your study strategy to talk to other people about what they studied and did that work for them. Maybe make some changes. It's all about thinking like a scientist. You're doing experiments here. You did an experiment, i.e. studying for a test. Did it work well? You have some results in terms of your performance on the test. Did you feel prepared? Could you have studied differently? Thinking about ways to kind of modify and change things, and then do another experiment. Take your second test and see how that outcome goes, and then iterate again. You'll take a third test. You'll do a final exam. You'll have plenty of opportunities. Otherwise, before we do any of that, we got to finish Module 5. We got to finish Chapter 4. Participation 615 starting us out on our Monday. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the videos.